Oh, John, this is true, this. There was a little midget, you know, and a grand little fella, and he got on train at Donny, and he was going he was going to Peterborough, but he got on this train, and he's belting along, and he said, hey, where we off? They said, London. He says, I'm on a show at Peterborough. I said, well, we don't stop. He says, you'll have to stop. He says, you'll have to do. He said, he said, hold on, I'll go see driver, see what we can do for the old love. So he said to the driver, he says, this midget is on a show at Peterborough, can we help him? This is only one thing we can do, we'll slow down, going through the station. He said, fetch him here. So he says, come here. He says, look, cop. He says, Peterborough. He says, but we don't stop. He said, no, but he said, well, look, I'll tell you what I'll do. He said, we get in near, I'll slow the train down. He said, I'll pick the up with scruff and neck, hang the hat at window and get the little legs going, see? So he does this and his legs are going. And he dropped him smack on Peterborough station and he's going like, whoa. And guard looked out and he seen this. So he whipped him up, he says, by gum, I nearly missed it that time, old love.
Because your legs is bent in half.
My legs ain't enough.
Yes, they is.
It's the latest fashion. Everybody who's anybody has their feet up nowadays, you ignorant fool.
What are you getting so cross for, Aunt Sally? What are you getting so cross for, Aunt Sally? Is it because you started off on a trip around the world and ended up in a jumbly sale?
What jumbly sale?
What is jumbly sale? There's one here in the village hall.
There ain't no jumbly sale here, you clod of in a stack.
Yes, there is too. It says so up there.
You don't know what it says over there. You haven't got your reading aid on.
Yeah, well, I haven't, but I can remember what it says from t'other times. I knows it off by heart, I does. Yeah, it says, this morning, jumbly sale, 11 to 12 o'clock, cups of tea and slices of cake free.
Doesn't say that.
It always says that.
It doesn't say that at all.
What does it say then?
It says, an auction of valuable antiques will take place here today.
What's a grand auction, Aunt Sally?
Auction! It means being bid for, you uneducated awick. It means being knocked down by some grand personage, an archduke perhaps, or a high-born toastmaster in a scarlet jacket, and then being taken off to live in his stately home and sitting down on days and holidays to lemonade and sticky buns.
Here, Aunt Sally, why has you got that there clothes horse round your feet for?
Clothes horse? You're referring, I suppose, to this Japanese silk screen of classic design.
Am I?
And you're wondering, no doubt, what has happened to the valuable hand-painted priceless oriental pictures that was on it.
That?
Well, I will tell you for nothing. They fell off. Is there anything else you'd like to know?
No, thank you very much, Aunt Sally.
Then push off!
I'll never forget that first day at Pitt. Me and my father worked a 72-hour shift and then we walked home 43 miles through snow in his bare feet, huddled inside his clothes made out of old sacks. Eventually we trudged over hill until we could see street light twinkling in our village. My father smiled down at me through icicles hanging off his nose. "Nearly home now, lad," he said. We stumbled into house and stood there freezing cold and tired out, shivering and miserable in front of meagre fire. "Any road," my mum says. "Cheer up, lads. I've got you some nice brown bread and butter for your tea." Me father went crackers. He reached out and gently pulled my mum towards him bit throat. "You big, fat, idle, ugly wart," he said. "You great, useless, spawny-eyed, parrot-faced wazzock." He had a way with words, my father. He'd been to college, you know. "You've been out playing bingo all afternoon instead of getting some proper snap ready for me and this lad," he explained to me poor little purple-faced mam. Then turning to me, he said, "Arthur, He could never remember me name. Here's A for crown. Nip down to Chippoil and get us a nice piece of haddock for us tea. Man cannot live by bread alone. He were a right day to me father. He said as our working folk should have some dignity and pride and self-respect, and as how they should come home to somewhat warm and cheerful. And then he threw me mam on fire. We didn't have no tellies or shoes or bedclothes. We made us own fun in them days. Do you know when I were a lad you could get a tram down into town, buy 3 new suits and an overcoat, 4 pair of good boots, go and see George Formby at Palace Theatre, get blind drunk, have some steak and chips, a bunch of bananas and 3 stone of monkey nuts, and still have change out in a farthing. We'd lots of things in them days they haven't got today. Rickets, diphtheria, Hitler, and by we did look well going to school with no backside in his trousers and all his little heads painted purple because we had ringworm. They don't know they're born today.
And I saw this fella with a long face, and I talked to anybody me that I talked back, and I said, what's up with you? And he said, I'm not going home to our house. I said, aren't you? He said, no. I said, why aren't you going back? He said, there's a terrible smell in our house. I said, is there? He said, aye, the wife keeps cats. I said, well, have you tried opening the window? He said, what, and let all my pigeons out? Hey, and what about this horse that collapsed in Piccadilly? And this policeman was stood there with his notebook 10 minutes. And the sergeant said, well, what are you waiting for? He said, how do you spell Piccadilly? He said, P-I-K. Oh, drag it into Tib Street. Drag it into Tib Street. We'll all have bellyache, won't we? Hey, and what about the and this village idiot joined the army? It wasn't me, but I knew him. And he joined up, and he lost his rifle. And the CO said, "Where is it?" He said, "I've lost it." He said, "You'll have to pay for it now." He said, "I'm not paying for it because it's not mine." He said, "You'll have to." He said, "Because anything you get issued within the army, if you lose it, you have to pay for it." He said, "Well, what would happen if I was driving a tank and I lost that?" He said, "You'd have to pay for it." He said, "It's no wonder these captains go down with the ships, is it?"
Happiness is a cigar called Hamlet, the mild cigar.
In Oxford Street today, a suicidal Japanese fighter pilot crashed his plane. Pardon?
I changed these a long time ago.
Well, good morning, Daddy. It's really nice to see you, and how's Mummy going on?
I've decided to come to give you a small lesson in how
Some tips.
how it's done.
Well, that's amazing. Well, why don't you sit down there, Mr. McDonald, and let's see if we can really get it on.
I mean, I'm not too sure, but should I try?
Let Makeup have a look at this. He has some splattering of grey, and he has a little... I've always wondered what this is. I always thought it was dirt.
Yeah, sorry.
Can you let him read? Okay. Go on. Yes,
Would you listen carefully now?
Can I throw some water?
No. No water. No water. I'm supposed to read this. Good morning, it says here. I'm terribly sorry about that. I wonder why. Reports are coming in that Mr. Albert Shortfuse, who is known as the human cannonball, was still stuck in the barrel of a cannon at Barnard Circus this morning. A doctor has tied a rope around his ankles and says he's certain that the man will pull through.
The policeman walking through the car park. And he comes up to this little Minnie and he says to the girl, "What are you doing in there?" She says, "We're doing the slow foxtrot." He came up to the next car. He said, "What are you two doing in there?" She says, "We're doing the cha-cha-cha." And he came up to a big Rolls Royce, and one of these dolly birds put her head at a blonde. He said, "I suppose you're doing the bossa nova." She said, "No, sir, I'm doing the bossa favor."
As long as I got a face, get what I mean, Gentlemen, pray be upstanding for your most gracious sovereign, the Queen.
Good evening, boys.
Good evening, Your Majesty.
Would you like to order, sir?
Yes, I will have a steak.
How'd you like it?
Raw, please.
And what about the vegetables?
Oh, they'll have the same as me.
By the way, Norman, how are your children?
Oh, delicious, thank you, Nina.
Really, Norman, you are a sight. Let me get you someone to blow your nose on.
Cabinet. Shut up, Norman. Speak up, man, for God's sake. Say what you mean. You're not on the platform now.
Nigel pinched my pen.
Nigel?
He did.
Is this true? You know my policy on stealing from one's friends? Cabinet. What do we call it when people go around stealing other people's property? You!
A free market economy?
Rubbish! What do we call it, David?
Socialism.
Well done, David.
Margaret Thatcher.
An ordinary dinner party, the sort of occasion we all enjoy. The men are exchanging witty stories. And look at the women, aren't they pretty? Look at the way they laugh, they're delightful. But now the conversation turns to more serious matters.
I wonder if the government should return to the gold standard.
I think it should.
Good, then we're all agreed.
But oh dear, what's this? One of the women is about to embarrass us all.
I think the government should stay off the gold standard so that the pound can reach a level that will keep our exports competitive.
The lady has foolishly attempted to join the conversation with a wild and dangerous opinion of her own. What half-baked drivel. See how the men look at her with utter contempt.
Then we're going home.
Women, know your limits. Look at the effect of education on a man and a woman's mind. Education passes into the mind of a man. See how the information is evenly and tidily stored. Now see the same thing on a woman. At first we see a similar result. But now look, still at a reasonably low level of education, her brain suddenly overloads. She cannot take in complicated information. She becomes frantically and absurdly deranged. Look at these venomous harridans. They went to university. Hard to believe they're all under 25. Yes, overeducation leads to ugliness, premature aging, and beard growth. Now let's see the proper way.
Good. So we're all agreed. We should return to the gold standard.
Oh, I don't know anything about the gold standard, I'm afraid, but I do love little kittens. They're so soft and furry.
What a delightful thought, you dear, sweet, fragile little thing. I adore you. Women, know your limits. In thought, be plain and simple, and let your natural sweetness shine through.
Laugh? I thought my trousers never dry. Hey, do you know, this is true now. There were a football match between rabbis and fathers. This is right. It was a big game. And when it was all over, Pope rang up, then he said, "Are you going on out through?" He says, "We've lost 34-0. He says, "You never have." He said, "We have 34-0, right drubbing." He said, "Arrange another match." He said, "It's no tale, we're having the more of that, old lad." He said, "Arrange another. Fix you up with a good one." He said, "We'll have a race match then. Who we got?" He said, "Father Eusebio." They said, "Fair enough, old love. We'll skate to him. Very nice." After the match, he phoned them up. He said, "How we gone on?" He said, "We lost 2-1. He said, "You never did." He said, "We did. We lost 2-1. He said, "Who scored for us?" He said, "Father Eusebio." He said, "Well, who scored for them?" He said, "Rabbi Charlton and Rabbi Best."
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. What a lovely audience. Well, I must say you have been a good audience. And I'd like to close now, if I may. Oh, dear, I've had a pain here all day. Look at that. Oh, is it hot? It's heat that does it. Oh. It's different every time, isn't it? Oh dear, oh dear. Oh, what a day I've had. I went to see my doctor. I had to, he's ill. And he said to me, he said, "Can I help you?" I said, "Yes." I said, "I get these terrible dreams." He said, "What's that?" I said, "I keep dreaming these beautiful girls keep coming towards me. Beautiful girls, I keep pushing away. They keep coming towards me, I keep pushing away." He said, "What do you want me to do?" I said, "Break my arm." He said, "I want you to lie down on the couch." I said, "What for?" He said, "I want to sweep out." I said, "But seriously, doctor," I said, "seriously." I said, "Seriously, doctor." Seriously, doctor, I said, "I have broken my arm in several places." He said, "Well, you shouldn't go to this place." Here's a quick joke. There's a man having a barbecue in the front garden, so he turned the spit like that, and the flames are getting higher and higher. Higher and higher, see? And he's singing, "Oh, Sole Mio." No music. "Oh, Sole Mio, farewell, goodbye." And the flames are getting higher and higher. And a drunk walks by, he says, "Your singer's all right, but your monkey's on fire." come down. I mean, you're the prop, aren't you? I mean, that leg should... These legs should come down. It's a bit late now, isn't it? It's a bit late now. It wasn't, was it? What? What? Yes. Very nice. What? Yes. How would I produce from this empty cloth a live guinea pig? Oh, dear. Yeah, my wife just phoned me just before the show. And she said to me, I've got water in a carburetor. I said, where's the car? She said, in the river. Oh, excuse me, that reminds me. Just a minute. Hold me a second. Hello? Is that the GPO? Look, I want to complain about my phone bills. They keep going up and up. But why are they so big? What? Because of what?
And I couldn't come dashing on tonight because I went to a party last night and had too much ale. It was a special occasion. It was my granddad's 103rd birthday party. He wasn't there. He died when he was 29. Thought a lot of him. I always feel sorry for people who don't drink me. If you know anybody who doesn't drink, feel sorry for them, because when they wake up in the morning, that's the best they're going to feel all day. Those boozers improve as the day goes on. Looking forward to summer, getting away from it all for a while. I was in Morecambe a couple of years ago. 14 weeks in Morecambe. Somebody has to go there. I lost the raffle. They put all the artists' names in a hat and Mr. Delfont pulls them out and the ones who lose have to go to Morecambe. It's a sort of cemetery with lights, isn't it? Mad gay city. Stockport with C. If you want any excitement in Morecambe, they all go in the grocers and watch the bacon slicer. Lovely girl she is. Wednesday's the big day. They all turn out and watch the traffic lights change. 10:30 it is if you don't want to miss it. Doesn't last long. What a place. They don't bury the dead, they stand them up in bus shelters. With a bingo ticket in their hand. A fellow went for a job as a coal miner, and it was on one of these little pits in the village, miles from anywhere, that the coal board knew nothing about. They'd forgotten all about it. But it was still there, and he got this job, and he said, I want my pit helmet with the light on it. They said, oh, we don't have that, we're only a little pit, we're not modernised yet. He said, you just put your cap on and you have a flash lamp. So he says, oh, all right, that'll do. He said, where's my pick? He said, oh, we don't have picks, we're not that modernised here yet. He says, knife and fork.
So he got his knife and fork, and he said, "Where's the lift for going down?" He said, "Oh, we don't have a lift." He said, "You just slide down the rope. We're not modernised yet." So he got his knife and fork and his cap and his torch, and he slid down the rope, and he crawled under to the coal face, and all the other fellas are there working, and he saw a bat flying about, and he got his fork and he pinned this bat to the wall. And the foreman said, "Everybody out on strike." He's sabotaged the cooling system.
Io cinzano bianco, signora.
Thank you.
Ah, yes, gracias.
Ah, due?
No, mine was a Cinzano as well. Now that's better. Oh, can't you just smell those Italian wines? Suffused with herbs and spices from four continents. Why, being boring. Oh, sorry. Sorry. All right. Getting your head down, sweetie. Jolly good idea.
From the house of Cinzano, Cinzano Bianco.
This fella's got this little parrot, you see, and he's teaching it how to speak, and all it'll say is, "Who is it?" Like that. Well, he goes out to work 8 o'clock one morning, and at 9:30 there's a knock on the door, and the parrot said, "Who is it?" See, and he said, "It's the plumber. I've come to when your pipes would let me in, please." And then the parrot said, "Who is it?" He said, "It's the plumber. I've come to when your pipes would let me in, please." And then the parrot said, "Who is it?" He said, "It's the plumber. I've come to when your pipes would let me in." And then the parrot said, "Who is it?" It's a plumber. I forgot the end. I was doing right well as well then. I know all the characters like do you want to dance? You can dance. I know all the characters. There's only the two of them. There's the parrot who's in the cage, and I know what he said. He said, "Who is it?" See, and then this chap's outside, and he said, "What do you mean?" Oh no, that was me earlier. No. He said, "It's a plumber. I've come to run your pipes. Let me in, please." The parrot said, "Who is it?" The parrot's in the cage, and he did say, right enough, he said, "Who is it?" See? And then this chap's outside, and he didn't say, "It's the plumber. I've come to run your pipes. Will let me in, please." That's where I've gone wrong. He said, "It's the plumber. I've come to run your pipes. Will let me in, please." Angrily. He went on for about 4.5 hours, and he's screaming and shouting his head off. And in the end, the blood pressure got the best of him. And he collapsed in a heap on the stairs, and at 5 o'clock the man came home from work. Well, he fell right over this body, and he looked down and he said, "Who is it?" And the parrot said, "It's the plumber. He's going to be..."
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. You're only supposed to blow the bloody doors off.
I'm a traveling man, made a lot of stops all over the world, and in every port I own the heart of at least one lovely girl. I've a pretty senorita waiting for me down in old Mexico, and if you're ever in Alaska to stop and see my cute little Eskimo. Oh, my sweet Fraulein down in Berlin town makes my heart start to yearn. And my China doll down in old Hong Kong waits for my return. Pretty Polynesian baby over the sea, I remember the night when we walked in the sands of Waikiki, and I held you oh so tight. Oh, my sweet Fraulein down in Berlin town makes my heart start to yearn. And my China doll down in old Hong Kong waits for my return. Pretty Polynesian baby over the sea, I remember the night when we walked in the sand of Waikiki, and I held you oh so tight.